I was so ready to pour my heart out into this review, to express my enormous respect for one of the most finely crafted puzzle-cum-exploration games I have ever played. And then it went full Bioshock Infinite. Has a lighthouse and everything. It's not a case of, it went full Bioshock Infinite, you should never go full Bioshock Infinite. Sometimes you should. I loved Bioshock Infinite. The world was beautifully presented, the story was touching, and most importantly, you never had all the pieces of the puzzle. On a first playthrough, there was more at work than you could guess. Ether 1 has all of this going for it. Hand-painted levels, logical, satisfying puzzles, and a plot so twisted it makes the Red Wedding look like a Stark family picnic. It also has an ending which tells you to sit down and shut up as it walks you through half an hour of exposition in what might as well be a cutscene. In a lighthouse. Sound familiar? That a game which trusts the player so much that allows you to trundle without help at your own pace through complex and interlocking puzzles, that teases a deep human story through its environment should end in such a concrete and restricted fashion is galling. So that's my opinion on Ether 1. For the rest of this video, I will be reviewing an imaginary version of Ether 1 that ended half an hour sooner, because Ether 1 that ended half an hour sooner is one of my favourite games of all time. Comparisons will inevitably be drawn with Myst. You're dropped into a subconscious mind, Inception style, without the first clue what's really going on, and figuring out what's really going on requires no small amount of lateral thinking. But unlike Myst, you don't have to subsist on a diet of Fruit Loops and LSD to make progress. Myst will judge you for not realising that using an avocado on a cat and launching it into orbit was the solution to a puzzle about rice. Ether 1 is challenging. You can spend hours stumped, sensing you're on the edge of a solution but unable to put the pieces in place, but when that wave of realisation comes crashing down, you'll kick yourself. The puzzles are near universally coherent. Everything can be worked out from clues in the level and items at your disposal. When you are stuck, it's your fault. You're thick as soup, missing something obvious, one sandwich short of a picnic. And God, that feels good. But there are times, like between 18 and 20 hours a day, when our intellect fails us, when we have had enough and the puzzle emerges victorious. And in these situations, skip it. Every set piece in Ether 1 is optional. A full level out of the total 4 can be skipped if you're having a particularly slow day or have sustained some kind of head injury. Of course, if you skip them, I think you're insane, because these puzzles gently unravel a tragic and very human story about dementia, death, and industrial decline. A story so real and so relevant to many people that I would be surprised if it doesn't draw on the dev team's own experience. You're not being told the story, you're discovering it. A perfect marriage of design and narrative. Until, well, you know. Graphically, it's not only gorgeous, but really rather clever. A low-poly, hand-painted look reminiscent of Dishonored and WoW that's not only cheap to produce, but justified by its content. Subpar games often adopt similar looks out of laziness, but painting is a motif repeated throughout the game, for reasons which I won't spoil. One touch I found a particularly insightful piece of design is the case, a location you can walk to and from instantly, which serves as both a mission hub and inventory. And you may think, you don't need to reinvent the inventory, that's solving a problem that doesn't exist. Actually, no. Interlocking puzzles achieve such complexity that having a visual space in which to store and organise the items you've collected is exceptionally clever, and at the risk of sounding like an English undergrad, I'd argue that the growing assortment of objects which you can only guess at the uses of reinforces the theme of dementia. When you return to the case, it is to desperately search your piles of random, often useless items for some way to make sense of the world. I haven't even told you the best bit. It's buggy as hell. Don't get me wrong, it's annoying. to have items morph into large textureless cubes on your shelves. It is annoying to glitch into as yet undiscovered areas, and it's worrying that graphical issues such as draw distance impeded the solution of at least one puzzle. But the fact that this was the case, and I still found the game to be fair, coherent, and immensely fun, is testament to its substance. Normally nothing prompts review build rage quits faster than lazy debugging, yet it seems I've logged 26 hours in the past 2 days. I could not put it down.